You look good, bro.
What's
Yeah,
up?
you look good. Yeah, you
Too
just
hot?
like elevates, like looking great. I like the beard.
After, yeah.
You're just staying in shape. Like you're killing it.
I'm trying, dude. The only thing I got left to protect my body, so.
My body's a temple, baby. It's more like, I don't want to die. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is the last day of SHOT Show. But as y'all know, the First Last Next podcast is a bit of like the origin story saga of Silencer Shop, where we tell the stories, at least in the beginning, of people who've had really influential chapters in the making of this company. And the two guests that we have here today, it's hard to overstate their impact. Jake, who came in and offered Silencer Shop one of our first real big exclusives that we've ever had, and took a chance on us. We went to Shotgun Can together. That was rad. And Jake's history is profound as fuck. When you look at what it takes to be in a compromised situation, if you are a pilot and you get downed, how do you protect yourself? Jake is one of the few people who has thought of and successfully implemented a solution that gives you discrete protection. I'll let him speak to that story. But there are people alive today because of the innovations that he's made, some in field and some, with a production team, right? Really thinking it through, machining it out and going. And it's a really remarkable story. He's very humble. He's a man who likes to work with his hands, even though he could sit back off the company he built, loves to farm. And so he's very much an American man. And equally, you have this next generation of that JK Armament ethos and used to work at Silencer Shop, which is Bryce. And what Bryce represents that I think is so unique, as somebody who is originally from California, so many people look at our state from like Texas or in the Second Amendment community and they laugh at us. And don't realize, one, it's a very large gun owning state. Two, a lot of the people who are based in our community are a bit held captive by the big cities, because in the country, like in California, you're seeing dudes, they're men and women, they're cowboyed up, it's a huge farming state, right? And so that lifestyle is very strong. It's just not represented because we're too busy working our ass off to try to afford to live there. And you've got this very much American personality that comes out of the JK brand, and these are the two people most responsible for it. We do love bomb a little bit in the beginning of this podcast.
Hey, there you go.
Because I feel like everything in this industry is like, it starts off with a negative. We did this because we couldn't, or, oh my God, like Instagram and they're hurting us. And at Silencer Shop, we try to frame things on, well, what the can we do?
Yep.
Right? Like if we sit there and say all the things we can't do, we're going to be boxed in and we're not going to be able to maneuver and be effective and make change. And that starts by making sure we build the people up, right? We motivate people and go from there. So I want to make sure you guys know it's not just kiss and tail here. It's like it's love bombing for a reason, dude. Y'all deserve it. Y'all worked hard and you guys should be acknowledged. So with that, I'd love for you guys to each introduce yourselves. You can expand on what I said. You can say whatever you want. If you want to say one sentence and you just want to be like, hey, I'm a humble guy. I'm just happy to be here. That's cool too. But I'm really grateful to have you guys here and I'm really stoked for the conversation we're going to have today.
Dude, you get me all bricked up over here.
Right? No, I appreciate that. I mean, to your point, it just came up the other day. You drive down the road and there's lines on the road and people use the lines, and I always say I use the whole road. Like it's all available. And that kind of speaks to that. Don't box yourself in. Don't talk about the negative things about the road. Talk about, there's a paved road and that's great and we're traveling and that helps with the journey.
Yep.
So no, humble beginnings. We just had the governor over at the booth yesterday from Idaho. I'm a 5th generation Idahoan. My family came there to log in the state of Idaho, and eventually I'll kind of went into the farming industry, as that's how our state industry has kind of changed, and then slowly evolved into, now we're seeing a lot of weapons companies, there's suppressor companies in Idaho, and that's kind of our base. But yeah, born, raised in Idaho, worked on a beef feedlot growing up, feeding beef cattle is 7 days a week, every day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of speaks to like our ethos and our core is just, I didn't know any different. I didn't know people got days off,
Yeah.
Just didn't know. I went from that, 9/11 hit, joined the military, same thing. We were super busy. Went on the invasion of Iraq. Continued to deploy. Don't know what days off are. So that's kind of our. If we know how to do anything, we know how to work.
Yeah.
At JK, like people work hard. Have a great team. Love the people. But yeah, a little bit about history with us. Not only did we do the shotgun can exclusively, which was awesome, innovation. We weren't the first one to do a shotgun can. We just wanted to do something a little different, a little lighter. A very practical base guy, right? I want something that I can use, like I'm going to actually use it, even to like, not a full pocket dump, but, I use this because it has pliers, screwdriver, and a knife on it. It's just handy.
Yep.
Goes in my pocket. So I like practical things. That's kind of why I open up the safe. My shotguns were not suppressed. And I'm like, there's no reason we can't do this in a practical manner.
Sure.
So huge thanks to Silencer Shop allowing us to do that and like make a big ripple. And we are still selling the crap out of shotgun cans.
Oh, yeah. Front and center in the retail storeroom, too.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a thing, and we really enjoy it. We're got more generational stuff coming out. We did the Widowmaker end cap. So now you're putting an aftermarket choke of your choice in the end cap, getting that pattern just how you want it. And yeah, just continue to grow that. But I got some old history if you want to hear it.
I'd love to hear it.
I met Dave Matheny. So I was, at the time, I was doing contract work for Jib Tech suppressors.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yep.
Legacy. It was great times. The full field dater and the team.
Rest in peace. Yep.
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, great guy.
Absolutely.
And they bring me out to SHOT Show, work the booth, get stuff ready. I was actually working on their belt fed project at the time for the 240 Bravo. That's kind of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Kind of got the booth all set up. And the first time I met Dave, he had a cart with one kiosk on it, no booth. He was like a backpack boother, right? Didn't have a booth.
Really? Dave's never told me this story.
Yeah.
So
he had a kiosk, one.
On a cart.
On a cart, and he'd roll that thing around and give the spill. Okay? He'd store it in our booth at night because he didn't have nowhere to put it. So he'd put it in the Gym Tech booth, and we'd watch it for him, like secure it,
Dude, I never knew that.
Yeah, that's how I met him. And one night we sticker bombed it with Gym Tech stickers. I mean, like 500 of them.
I love
Not
that.
like 5 or 2 or 20. It was like 500 stickers.
I never heard this story before.
And he came to the booth the next morning, and his face. Okay, he's gonna probably kill me right now. He's probably thinking, "You're
no, he's laughing. I find out Dave. He's laughing.
I remember that he's like, what the heck happened to my one kiosk, right? We peeled them all off, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I met Dave. And I'm like, this guy's on to something.
Yeah.
Okay. He's got an angle. He's got a solution, is what it was, right?
He is brilliant.
Especially back then, like, it was groundbreaking. Like,
yeah.
He seen there was a problem and he had a solution, and he was telling people about it, and it did not take long, and he went. That's how I met Dave. So great dude.
Fantastic guy. Did you see the sign we put above the speakeasy?
No, what's to say?
Did you guys sign the speakeasy yet, by the way? Okay, we need to do that after.
Yeah.
There's a sign that just says, "Damn it, Dave." That's all it says,
right,
dude.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Dave Matheny is our fearless leader, founder and CEO of Silencer Shop. And he is a modest like 6'7", I think, which is it's the height, not the youth saying people are saying these days.
Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah, no.
The whole.
He is 6'7". He is a tall guy, but he is practical, thoughtful, very intentional, and he knew there was a better way to start applying for silencers, and so he had a software background and knocked it out. But
he did.
He's not afraid to be scrappy. He's not afraid to do what people aren't willing to do. He's super humble. So like he'll put something on a cart, he'll grab a broom. Like he's just an all around great guy. And as a result, it allows everyone at Silencer Shop to kind of empower themselves to do the right thing. Right.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I never knew that story.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we met.
Damn. That's cool.
Yeah. Dave's a G.
Dave's a G, dude.
He's a G. Yeah.
Spell his name, just spell it with a G.
Right? Yeah.
All right, Bryce, why don't you introduce yourself, dude?
Yeah, I'm Bryce. I worked with Silencer Shop for a long time. It's kind of where I cut my teeth in this whole deal.
Yep.
From California originally, and like my background really wasn't anything gun related. It was just more sales.
Yep.
But yeah, it's funny. It's when I was like 22 years old when I moved to Texas, and growing up in California, like you said, I grew up like super country, super cowboy, but it's still California, paying California taxes, dealing with California politics. I was like, you know what? I need to get out of here. Went to Texas, moved to Austin, arguably the most blue state in Texas, and I got the opposite, reaction. So I was living downtown Austin. I was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
I moved.
You're like, welcome to the farm, bro.
Yeah, I was like, this sucks, But funny enough, I moved out there, and I wanted to get out so bad. I moved out to Texas with $2,000 in my account, no job, just full send. I'll figure it out. Went through like 2 different jobs. I even got fired from my last one because it sucked so bad. I was like working at Section 8 homes, like doing like a leasing agency.
Yeah.
And then I saw the ad for Silencer Shop. Didn't know anything about silencers. Didn't know much about guns. Just I knew they're cool. I grew up with the 870s. Like that was about it. Got hired. Mike was interviewing me and asking about like my background in firearms. And I'm like, expert, 1,000%. I could build one right here for you right now. And he's like, well,
Perfect salesman.
hired, And then
Little did you know.
yeah. And then for a week, I was just doing YouTube. I was like watching the Silencer Shop YouTubes and like just trying to get educated as much as possible. And then I came in and like, just like anything in the firearm space, like there's a learning curve for sure. But like when it comes to NFA, it's just, it's insane.
Yeah.
So for like the next 4 months, I couldn't even write an email.
Yeah.
I barely could type, but for the next 4 to 5 months, locked in. And then, I just started slinging cans, man. I didn't shoot a suppressed weapon until I think like 10 months into my Silencer Shop career. And I was selling them like crazy.
Yeah.
And just wrote it from there. And then 4 years ago, I was having some family issues and I needed to go home. So that's when he poached me. It's like, hey, I'll let you.
You want to talk about that day? You know how I got him?
Wow.
We did the range day, our first range day, which
The helicopter one? Yeah.
yeah. So we were like, hey, let's do our range day, show, all of our product to the sales team, right? And I got a trick up my sleeve. Called the competitor.
You did. That was a weird one to see land. I was like, oh.
You're like,
We're gonna
Capital Armory. One of the guys at Capital Armory have a helicopter. This is why it's even funnier, though, right? Like, hey, can you bring a helicopter? I said, yeah, dude. Bring a helicopter. Where do you want me to bring it? Oh, I'm doing my Silencer Shop demo. He's like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. Flew us in. Then I asked you guys, who's your guys' top sales guy, top compliance guy, and top dealer sales, consumer sales, and your best compliance guy, because you got to take care of compliance because they keep setting prison.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got the guys lined up. They got the helicopter ride. Then I knew who your top sales guy was.
Yep.
I was like, hey, you want a job?
Yeah.
That happened.
Kind of worked out. Yeah.
That happened. That's just
It's the
you want
first-
the real stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I was
Yeah.
like, I probably need that guy because you know how many sales guys I had at that time? 0.
Yeah. You had Rich doing marketing. It was you.
Ron, president,
Yeah.
and our machine shop guys and
Yeah.
no sales team.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, well, I got to start somewhere. And he explained, he was having the family thing right then. It just happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? Happened
Yeah.
for a reason. And
For sure.
reached out. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
And then I lived in the shop for like 3 months, and I wanted to kill myself.
In a camper.
Yeah, camper. No
We had a
running
camper in
water.
Idaho. He's like, yeah, I could stay here while getting trained, right? And yeah,
Yeah, to fall asleep to
Camper
the
life.
sounds of CNC machines going off all
yeah.
night.
He knows all about a machine shop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know about Bryce's origin story, especially now that the man is, I would say, a comedy influencer is probably the best way to say that.
Yeah,
Bryce's superpower has always been that he can make light of any situation and like calm the situation. But he's funny, like lethally funny and charming.
Thank you, man.
Where's your
Yeah.
banana, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
I
eat
take my
it?
business
Yeah.
call,
He's been
yeah.
taking
Oh my
calls on
God,
a
that
banana
was so
all
funny.
week.
How many views did that get?
Oh, dude, my last one got 9.7 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the dude is getting millions of views on Instagram while still using firearms in the content. So it's really impressive what he's pulling out.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, like, I mean, as everyone knows, you just get slapped super hard when you do anything firearm related.
Yep.
And kind of what you're talking about earlier, when it comes to like having engaging audience, I think with the way the world is, everything's overproduced. Like you have like these state of the art cameras and drones, and like it just seems addy. Right?
Yeah.
So like the best way to do it is be authentic.
Yeah.
You know, like
All that stuff we normally say, right?
No, you and I have talked about this years ago. When
Yeah.
you were like, hey, I want to get into photography. I was like, yeah, that's great, dude. But I was like, but use your phone.
yeah,
All the videos that crush, everything is just what's in the moment and in the hand where people feel like they're a part of
I
something.
have like 20 grand worth of camera gear, and
Yeah.
I never use it anymore.
No.
It's literally just my phone. But yeah, no, it's been good. Like that was kind of our market strategy, because we were getting shadow banned.
Yeah,
hard.
that's the deal.
And you know, I looked at it like platforms are your age bracket. So like your Instagram is like millennials like myself, right? And Facebook's the boomer age, and then like TikTok is your Gen Z and lower. So it's like, all right, if we're gonna do this,
I like that Bryce is pretending like he's not on Snapchat.
I'm not on Snapchat.
Right.
Show me.
I don't have it. I swear. Yeah.
That's not
actually-
on that phone.
That's actually a subscription service. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, we were just like, all right, how do we engage without getting shadow banned? And we're like, well, I mean, literally, we use Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are these demographics? What do they find funny?
Yeah.
And like, I was like, all right, well, 25 to 35-year-old men like, you know, dark niche drinking humor, then that's what we're gonna do.
That's also who you are as a human.
Yeah,
So
it makes
that
it
was like
really easy to make content.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
yeah.
oh, cool. So just be
yeah.
myself.
Yeah. Deal. Done.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta say, man, I'm really proud of you, dude. I'm
Thanks.
really proud of you both. Like, you guys have done and built yourselves like something to be proud of.
Thank
Um,
you. Appreciate it.
I think that's really awesome, man.
Yeah. No, it's been good.
So let's go into the questions, dude. Let's dig into it. Do you guys remember your first firearms?
Yeah.
Go first.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
So, obviously, growing up in Idaho, I shot all kinds of guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want the first one I shot or the first one I bought?
Both, man.
Both?
Yeah.
First one I shot was a 1022. Like, that's what we had. And
Yeah.
me and my little brother.
Can I ask
Let's
another
say-
question?
Yeah.
Would you shoot that?
Ooh. Legal or illegal?
We can bleep it out if it's illegal.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I probably need to go back a step.
All right.
I need to go back a
All
step.
right.
My grandpa from Cody, Wyoming, he bought me what are those, Aircross pellet gun?
Oh, yeah.
Pellet gun?
Yeah.
When
That's how I
was
got my first.
4
Yeah.
for
What?
Christmas. My mom was super angry.
I bet.
I packed that thing everywhere
Yeah.
and learned how to take down larger game. I'm just going to put it in that term, not say what it is, by shooting it in the eye.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
The eye, you could take it down.
Yeah.
Like it would take it down. Or it'd blind it and then I could tackle it or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So that was my first entry into firearms, real life.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went into, that obviously wasn't, it's just an air rifle, but
Yeah.
went into 1022.
That's something.
And yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Keep going.
And because then it was all about, we grew up in a town of like 300 or less,
Mm-hmm.
but they sold bricks of 22 ammo, right? Everything in life was about saving enough to get a brick and then going out and shooting anything that moved. Yeah.
It's so funny that when you say that, like, I know what Bryce and I thought of just being California
Yeah.
boys.
Not the
Brick.
other brick.
I know brick means something else where we're from.
Yeah.
But my man over here is bricked up. I like it.
Yeah. We were going for the 22 brick. Yeah. It was a thing. And literally, I think they were like $5 back then. It wasn't much. There's two things that this story wanted: a brick of ammo and a Tootsie Pop.
Yeah.
Right? That's like what we needed. We had that and our 1022, and like we were taking over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And we lived in the country, so you could walk for days and
Yeah.
shoot stuff that moved, or
Death
hit
Squad.
stuff. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, so that's kind of like the beginning. And then, when I became an adult, the first thing I ever bought, like for myself, was an M16.
Oh, wow.
That was the first. And it was new, back then. I'd actually already joined the Army, went to basic, went on the invasion.
Is it A2?
Yeah.
Yeah, the A2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full length, like as soon as I got it, and I'm like, because I deployed with an M16. So I'm like, I need this.
Yeah.
As soon as I got back, I'm like, I need to make this an M4, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting an upper and already modifying. Got my upper. Like, this is cool. But I just got in the 10th group at that time. Well, we were running like commando style, right? Shorties. So
Can you explain to everyone who 10th group is? Because there are going to be people on this that don't know.
okay, so I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. I
Sure.
went on the invasion with 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment. Great. Good, bad, ugly. Like, we lost 52 guys on the invasion. It was Cowboys and Indians is what we called it.
Yeah.
You know, you got real. I'd been at the unit for a month or two when I deployed. Like, I got out of basic. They're like, hey, guess what? Like, my first day at an Army post, I went and got my desert fatigues. Like, you're going.
Yep. Wow.
And I kind of knew, I mean, I got everything I asked for, I guess, let's say that. I
Yeah.
joined because of 9/11. So
Yep.
it was really real. Like, moving my wife down there, they're like, hey, you're leaving. And we left. But then when I got back, I was done. I was like, I got everything that I asked for. That was the real deal. Thanks, you know, I want to get out.
Yep.
My time was short on my first hitch. I was getting ready to get out, and I got into a stop loss. That you're not going anywhere. I don't know if you ever heard of stop loss, but they won't let you out.
Gotcha. So
If you're
they
in certain jobs in the Army and you're in these combat force units, you cannot get out.
are you like deemed essential? Essentially, it's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
basically,
got it.
yeah. Because when you sign up for the military, any branch, it's actually an 8-year commitment.
Correct.
You do a full, your full-time commitment could be 2 to 5 years. I had a 3-year commitment, I think.
Can't they also pull you back too?
Yes, and in that 8 years, you're in an IRR status.
Yep.
Any time in that 8 years, they can just switch. A lot of guys in the invasion were IRR.
Yeah.
When we went, they're like, this guy's been out for 3 years, but you're back. So I saw that too. But I thought, that was great. Got a great experience. Got to serve my country. Glad I did it. I made it. Ready to go home, start my family with my wife in Idaho and kind of go back to our roots. And they're like, you're not going anywhere. So that's when I went over and did a tryout for 10th Group Special Forces, Fort Carson. And really what my specialty there was, I was on the maintenance side. I went in as doing vehicle maintenance, weapon maintenance, like anything high modification. At those days of the wars, like we didn't have things that we needed, so we made it.
Yep.
And I was an Idaho farm boy, and they just like, hey, you can make this, do it. And that's kind of was the beginning of what I do now. I didn't know that. I thought everyone could make stuff because that's all we did.
I've seen this man at the bar too. Like even if like people need help, this dude will MacGyver something together just to make sure.
It's dangerous where you're going. Take this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And that was one of my favorite shows growing up, MacGyver. So
Yeah.
I thought more people were like that.
No, it's a
So I
superpower.
joined non-combat arms first, and then switched to combat arms. So I'd actually went to school in Wyoming to be a diesel mechanic first. And that's why I joined the Army as a mechanic. Like, this is the best thing I could do for the Army. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Little did I know that, growing up, packing an air rifle at 4 and then shooting everything known to man in Idaho, all the big game and everything before I joined the Army was unique. That most people had not even fired a weapon before they joined the Army. And I had really at that point 15 years of weapon experience that I thought was normal.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you need to switch jobs. You need to do something different. And so eventually I went scout in the Army and then ended up on Abrams too. Spent a lot of time in special operations, from jumping to air assault to sling load, all different. Yeah, rappel master. Kind of got a taste of a little bit of everything.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And it was a great career. Yeah, I did 4 deployments to Iraq. Kind of did all that. But that's really my base. Yeah. So, long story short. Okay, Mary, what's the question?
What's your first gun?
M16.
M16.
Yeah. That's why this podcast is so much fun, dude. And that's why that question's incredible.
Yeah, just
This
like-
gets me down a rabbit
That's the
hole a
point.
little bit, yeah.
There's no wrong answer.
So M16, I deployed with an M16 with
Yeah.
iron sights
Yeah.
on the invasion. Long, no red dot. Like, one mag on the buttstock, few on here,
Yeah.
and we rolled. We rolled.
That's
And
wild.
got back and I'm like, yeah, I need one of those to make sure I have one at home now in case some of these guys like try to chase me down in America. I don't know. I was like, I better have one, right?
I think once you've been in a position where you know what it's like to not exactly have agency, you're like, I'll never not have that again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that, at least for me, that's what got me into firearms before I even got into space, dude. Was like, I will always have a say in how I get out of the situation, right?
Yep. So
Yeah.
as soon as I got to 10th, it was like, hey, whatever you shoot at work, you need to have at home.
Sure.
It's not enough to practice at work. You need to do the same thing at home.
Yep.
So then I took that and come to find out it's the most modular weapon system known to man, right? So I started making my work gun at home. I made my exact work gun at home. So I'd work at work and I'd work at home. Become a master of your craft.
Yeah.
Right? So it soon became a SVR. So I took it down. I found a local machinist in Colorado Springs because that's where we were living in Fountain, but
Yeah.
found one in Colorado Springs, and had him chop the barrel, rethread it, got it all set up, got my stuff on it, took it on post, showed my buddies. One, which is illegal, can't take it on post unless you like register it.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Two,
That's
Two, they're like, dude, you chopped the barrel off, you can't do that. And I was like, well, I didn't do it. The other guy did it. They're like, yeah, that's an SPR, that's illegal.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. That's how I really started. But what it made me educate myself. I'm like, so then I'm like going down these NFA rules that never heard of, right?
Compliance and legal. If you're listening to this right now, before we share this out,
That was a
please take a
joke.
selfie of yourself, and so we can layer it on here. We'll bleep all of that part out, probably.
Hey, if you want it, I'm
No, I'm here for this. I love it, dude. This is incredible.
That's real life.
No, this is why.
So
like I said,
my first gun that I bought became an NFA item.
I love that.
And
I
I
love
figured out how to do it then and the legal way to do it. And that kind of got me right into, well, you create a short barrel 5.56. What's it become?
Yeah.
Extremely loud.
Yeah.
And then that kind of even started with the suppressors even back then. Like, there's got to be a way to make this better.
Yeah.
And I just kind of planted the seed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not just louder. The recoil impulse is different. Like everything's
It
different.
changed the whole system.
The whole
right?
system.
Cycling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first things. Then it wouldn't cycle because I had the wrong gas hole for that barrel length. And I'm pulling the A2 off, drilling the hole out. Like, I just started doing stuff, right? Yeah.
I love
Take
that.
stuff, Dremels, and yeah.
You probably don't know this, but you actually have the best rifle I've ever shot. You're the person who got me onto Geisley. I just, for whatever reason, was like, anytime someone's hyped up about a brand too much, I almost always retract off of it for whatever reason. That's weird like that. Yeah, I'm just like, but I remember that Geisley. I can't remember. Did I remember correctly? Is it like a patine or is it like a what's the color of yours? It was like a different color. The one we shot at CanCon.
The Mark 18?
The Super Netting Mark 18.
Is that what it is? Yeah, it's like a. I won't. It's not purple. It was like a plum color or something like that. Is that the one you guys had?
Yeah, it's just, honestly, it's just getting faded.
Yeah,
That's changed the color, right? Yeah.
that's the
Sun
best
faded.
rifle I've ever shot in my entire 10
Really?
years of being in this space.
Just smooth, right?
It's smooth. I like the weight of the weapon. I don't like rifles that are too light for whatever reason. I actually manipulate them worse.
Yeah. Weight equals stability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not long term, but short term, it's
Correct.
smooth. Yeah.
Yeah. And I ain't him. I'm not somebody who's like, I'm not like, I'm spreadsheet Elliot here. Like it's just, I'm not him. But that is the best rifle I've ever fired. And I've used that benchmark on any rifle I've made or shot since. I don't know if I ever told you that.
No,
Yeah.
never heard that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you stayed after, it was like an hour after we had that customer who came up
Yep.
and it was CanCon years ago.
Yeah.
You were there with me. You were with me, actually.
really?
That was
That's where the river is. What's that place called? I love that place. River walk there.
Savannah.
Savannah.
Yeah, it was just
Georgia.
outside Savannah.
That's one of my favorite southern states. And
Yeah.
for that piece, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
The food and the people are great, right? There's a small section there, then it kind of goes down.
Yeah, it get a little weird.
But yeah, I do
you get to
remember
like
that
cooler or whatever, it gets a little funky.
Yeah, that was one of our first shoots, too, as a company.
Right
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right in the
Yeah,
very
it was-
beginning.
There were some people that came late because they, on that date, if I remember correctly, they were first there was a hurricane the week before.
Yep.
So everything was just like absolutely annihilated.
And flooded, and then the bugs. Remember the
Dude,
bugs
oh, of
because
course.
of the water?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, dude.
I came back with more bumps than
Yeah.
yes.
Those things are buried.
They were
yeah,
bad.
That was not good.
But there was a family that was at church and had missed it, but they like really wanted to go to CanCon, and you guys had packed up everything, and I was walking them up, and I was like, it looks like everyone's done, and you not only took everything out, but you let them shoot anything they wanted to, and you had packed up everything. That was one of the most generous things I've actually seen someone do up to that point in my career, because most of the time they're just like, yeah, man, you should have been here earlier. I don't know what to tell you. But you were like, yeah, dude, like, and like you were talking about all cans, not just JK cans. You were talking to them about everything. And I just remember being like, holy shit, that was cool. And then you let me shoot that rifle, and I was like, oh, cool. So all mine are not how I want them now. Like, I just
Ruin
found
that
Kool-Aid.
for you,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, dude, I'm drinking it hard.
Sweet.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Guys, they makes a great product, and man, they're just they
Yeah.
really held the standard in a lot of ways, and I really appreciate them too.
Oh yeah. That was a great rifle.
Yeah.
I digress. I'm sorry. What was your
It's great.
Yeah. What's the next? Well, you have a next one, right? What's
No. We'll do that
I'll say
next.
that
Everyone does
later.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. First gun, Winchester 1906 pump action 22.
Ooh.
I still have it. Still one of my
Yes.
favorites. I think it's awesome.
Do you have your non-NFA item, by the way? Your NFA, non-NFA item? That rifle, did you
The
register?
first one?
Yeah.
Oh, I have it.
Did you register?
No.
All right, cool. So we definitely need to delete that section. What I'm going to do is I'm going
We can delete that.
Yeah. Well, we're
They
gonna-
can come. I got an FFA.
Hey.
It's just an upper sitting there. Yeah.
yeah. So, all right, cool. Yeah, you're right.
Cool with that.
All right.
Yeah,
with
man.
it.
Yeah, we'll roll with it.
Send them the
Hey,
ATF.
They
knows
love
how to
Jake.
spell my first, middle, and last name.
Oh, the ATF knows you real well.
They-
I made it in their book, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
This is what you can't do.
We're going to
There's a
get...
picture of that.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to the jig in a little bit. That's going to be... I have a very specific question for that at the end of the show.
There is a mega following with that. Okay, mega.
Yeah.
No, we still get customer service calls.
Oh,
Like, hey,
like
can I
every
buy?
day.
Yeah, jigged up, dude.
At 80%, we're like,
Yeah.
sorry, dude.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah,
And probably don't do it on Amazon.
yeah, or Timu.
There's a whole deal on that if we wanted to talk that.
Oh, good. Wow. I would actually
Not
love
your
to do a
site.
separate podcast on that one.
Dude,
entirely.
that thing would go nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Let's...
Say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let's see how much time you guys have after this, because the afternoon's a little clear today.
Yeah.
Maybe we get weird.
Yeah.
We get weird.
I like
Sweet.
it. I like it weird.
Yeah. Oh, I know you do.
That's right.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
Cowboy, we got.
So yeah, 1906. So, like, my actual hero is my grandpa. Yeah, I grew up out in the middle of nowhere, and that was just him. I didn't really have like a male model in my life.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, he didn't really take me hunting or anything because he was still pretty old when I was growing up, and yeah, he just let me go out and do whatever I want, dude. To play with dirt clouds and cow pies, and he gave me a gun like when I was right around 3 or 4, and they're like, "Go have fun."
Go do
Yeah,
things.
go
yeah.
do things. You know,
Yeah.
come back. You know, at night. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So like, it was just me and that Winchester, man. I'd shoot rabbits and squirrels and birds, and it was awesome. Yeah, I was dead eye with that thing.
You're a great shot.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a
Thank you.
painfully good shot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it's a shotgun, apparently, because
I can't shoot shotguns
I
either,
can't
dude.
shoot shit, dude. Like, I just went. I was just in Montana with Sitka and doing like a 4-day hunt with him. I'm the glue guy. I'm really good at bringing the vibes. Really bad at hitting anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went there. I hit 0 birds for 4 days, but I did catch a buzz every day. So
Okay.
that's all that matters, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got invited back. So
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Like,
Like, this
keep
guy's
around for
great.
commentary.
Yeah, well, commentary and every other shooter's gonna be like, "I'm awesome."
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Oh, yeah. They're like, "Ooh."
As long as I'm better at Bryce.
Yeah,
I'm good.
exactly.
Yeah.
I bring the shotgun cans, but like I'm a really bad example of how to use them.
I love that.
So,
That's fantastic. That's so good.
yeah, yeah. That was that was my first one.
You still have it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I have. The legalities on this one is iffy, but I don't shoot from a moving vehicle. I want to put that out there.
Often.
Often.
Yeah.
But I bought this little e-bike. I went to Tractor Supply, and you know I'm impulsive as hell. So
Yeah.
like I saw this e-bike's like $1,500, and I'm like, you're coming out with me.
Yeah.
So I snagged this thing, and I got these rifle mounts, so I can roll around my property at night. And I have like nods. I took I replaced the light on the front with an IR light.
Yeah.
So now I can have this like super bright IR roll around, makes 0 noise, and then I have that little 22 that I can put up there, and it's a hammer fire. So like, you can hold it holds like 10 rounds. and you hold the trigger and you like, slam the pump down, so you can like it's almost like it's automatic.
It's quick.
Yep.
Yeah, and like you can just roll up.
It's
on
the
pigs.
first FRT ever made.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, just
Yeah.
hold it down and pump.
Yeah,
Right?
it's awesome. It's so awesome. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you guys, I invite all the sounds for you guys every time I see them, but you guys actually should come out.
Okay.
These hunts, we have like
Choosing pigs and
shots
stuff.
of pigs, man. We got all kinds of crazy stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
We have access to like 300,000 acres up to like the hills of San Miguel, and yeah, dude, we got some monster pigs out there.
I never. Did I? No, I did boar. I think there was a boar hunt I went on when I was younger out in California once. It was wild. But I don't think I've ever hunted in California other than that. Well, when I was a kid, I hunted whatever the fuck I wanted with what I had. Which was mostly birds and squirrels.
Yeah.
Neighbors did not like me. And my mom, to be fair, did not really appreciate it much either. So I get that.
Man, well, that's just being a boy.
Yeah, but I was in the Bay Area, dog.
Oh, well,
Yeah, like, so, you know what I mean? Like, that was like,
He shot the neighbor squirrel. There.
yeah, exactly. That's how they kind of saw it, dude.
Yeah.
And so,
Whoops.
yeah, no, dude, she was like, do we need to find therapy? And like, my mom's so sweet. She was like so worried I was going to be trouble. And I was like,
oh yeah, so glad that she turned out wrong.
yeah. And I was like, no, dude, I just, sometimes they got to get God. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he's on our fence.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, sorry, I digress. What was the last gun y'all got?
For me?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just been one. It took me a couple of years to find it.
Yeah. Ooh.
I got a lot of guns just from the company and like testing and building and
Yeah.
just got this comics container full, to be honest. But none of them like have any special. Not many of them have very like special place. I'm like, that's a tool.
Yeah.
But I always wanted a Delisle, and I found one.
What is that?
A Delisle is
I'm looking it up.
Hey, Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie. Yeah.
It's Brett in this case.
Yeah, we'll let him pull it up so you can get it. Just type in Delisle 45 suppressed.
Delisle.
Yeah. See what the old internet brings up.
I actually don't know what it looks like either.
You don't know either? Oh, this would be great.
Oh, yeah, I know
history.
I know exactly what this is. If it'll pull up the picture all the way. Okay, cool. I didn't want to look at it anyway.
Well, so they can pull up a photo in this, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but we can show the camera too. It's this guy.
That's the one.
Yeah.
What was that, 9 mil? 45?
45.
45,
That's
bro.
caliber.
Is that a bolt action too?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. I've never even heard of a 45 caliber bolt action that was like actually made. It wasn't like funded out of someone's garage.
Yeah.
So these were basically, does it have some history? Go back to maybe Wikipedia.
The Delisle Commando carbine was developed in World War II by the British. In World War II, the British Commando used the rifle in covert military operations against Axis power. The Delisle Commando carbine is a bolt action and really suppressed 45 rifle. Bro, how have I worked in this industry for 10 years and never heard about this? $6,500 to buy it right now.
Yes.
Yo.
I mean, it makes sense. 45. Well, 2 world wars.
Yeah,
2 world.
Yeah,
but
literally.
It's probably so quiet.
but it's subsonic naturally, right? So then you add a
Already,
suppressor
so
to it.
it is the 300 Blackout of their age. It already existed. 230 grains of death.
That's kind of a hard statement, like what you just said. That was pretty deep for those that know.
They already had it, man.
Yeah.
They had it in World War II. They built it basically in a garage. Took 1911 mags.
Yeah. So, I mean, some
Integrally suppressed. Like we're trying to get there as an industry.
Yeah.
Already did it in World War II. They were knocking dudes down.
You just build a big ass camp for it.
And 45 ammo's cheap.
Here.
45 ammo's cheap. Rarely available. They had it. They had the mags. They had those bolt guns.
Yes.
Those are modified.
Oh, it's a silencer combo.
Oh yeah, it's
that's
integrally suppressed. Yeah, it's
That's
turnkey, dude.
crazy.
So you probably just hear the spring.
No, it's bolt guns.
It's a
You don't
bolt.
even hear spring.
What?
It's like click.
Oh, so
It's like
a pin.
shooting a
It's just a
10-22
pin. Yeah,
firing
I don't know
pin.
why I said that.
Yeah,
That's
it's firing pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a firing pin. It's a literally click gun.
Wild.
And they were putting the herd down on the axis with that thing.
Okay, so clearly there are not a lot of them because for it to be that price.
Yep.
Dude,
So
what
they're kind of sought
frickin-
after, yeah.
It's a 1911 mag too. You probably said that earlier.
Yeah. They modified the magazine and if the standard, I think it's an infield or something like that, and they put the magazine in it. It's like
The next picture of it, it looks like an infield.
Yeah, it does.
That's so crazy.
Yep. Those are G guns. That was my last purchase, and I've been looking for a good one. There's some out there that are rough. There's some that are nice. There's actually a company making a knockoff of them now, which is pretty cool. What do they call it? Not knockoff. What do they call it? Any
Clone.
copies? Clone. Yeah, they cloned it. It's
His
cool.
barrel is massive, man. The front of it.
Yeah, it's a can.
Yeah.
It's all can.
Well, I mean, I get that, but like, I'm just. It looks like what's that? The blunderbuss or whatever those things were called.
Yeah,
a blunderbuss.
Yeah, blunderbuss. That's what it looks like. But
Have
It's
that
even
be.
got the sights on the can. Like it's
Yeah, right on the
stuff we
front.
talk about. They
Yeah.
already did it in World War II. History repeats itself.
probably because there was some farm boy from Idaho.
Yeah, he's like, I can pull that. Exactly. So
Like you
that's
an
my
engineer?
last one. Yeah, that's my last one. I just like that thing's cool.
That's hard as shit, dude. That might be one of the top 3 of this entire SHOT Show for like what any gun they got was. That's hard.
Yeah. And if
Also,
you
I
need,
just learned a ton.
if you need
Thank
to do
you.
some work at night, like
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Do some work. Yeah. Oh my god. When
Yeah.
you shoot it, can you please record it? I just want to see.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah,
be
we'll
rad.
send the video out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it's super cool. But out of all the guns I got, that's kind of like one that's it's cool. It's got some history. It's we're suppressor guys. It's a military gun. It kind of checks all my boxes.
Hell yeah.
So
Man. Well, enjoy that. Yeah.
Mine's
Good
not
luck.
that cool at all. Yeah. Well, it's like I haven't bought a gun for myself in a really long time.
Yeah.
I mean, perks of
Yeah.
FFL and SOT, I kind of get whatever I want.
Yeah.
But the last one I actually got for myself, my buddy Will over at Darrow Precision sent me one of their Solus. It's just like a 5-inch barrel, folding stock, 300 Blackout.
Yep.
And dude, quiet. Because like with our modular stuff, like just made a 15 baffle can. Just put that thing on there and it's like a fart, man. It's awesome.
So you basically made the modern day Lisle.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at that. I didn't even know he
yeah,
answered that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
We have not talked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because it's
sick.
cool, right?
Yeah. It first time I shot suppressed actually, and for whatever reason my brain was like handgun, AR, then bolt gun. Which is like the worst way to go about it. Like 22 wasn't even on there.
That's crazy. I mean, that's the game.
And at first.
It was handgun first.
Really?
And it was more that's how it was presented to me. But it was
Yeah.
a USP.
Yeah.
And it was a left-handed thread. So I was like, this is all kinds of backwards.
What is this thing?
Yeah, exactly. But then I was like, oh, this is so much fun. But the first time shooting 22 in a bolt gun suppressed, I was like, I will never do anything else other than this again. Like it has to be suppressed. So that was 2012 or something like that. When we
Yeah.
started our family SOT. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, that's sick. I love that that was a line. What are you guys gonna get next?
M7.
Okay, damn, ready to go, my man.
Yeah.
Just like
M7. Like
M7.
I'm big on pushing the limits.
Yeah.
I love short-barreled rifles. I love fast shooting guns. What they've done with the brass technology and getting the pressures up, with having the stainless face, their 277 Fury, 7mm backcountry. It ain't going away. Like that's the way you can. Well, I'm a horsepower guy, right? I'm a farmer, so
Yeah.
like high horsepower diesel pickups to combines and tractors, and I'm gonna get the most out of it.
Yep.
The M7's getting the most out of it. They got a short barreled, high horsepower gun.
Yep.
It's just gonna put the hate down.
All right.
And I'm an Army guy at heart. They're issuing them now,
Yep.
and I think they're doing the right thing there. Like that's where we need to go. Is it fit every mission set? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do they have a place on the table? Yes. Yeah, I think it's a cool concept. Well, it's not even a concept. It's real.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It's real.
They're deploying it now. Yeah, exactly.
It's a. There's not a lot of innovation. Nah, I can't say that. There's been a lot of innovation outside of the U.S. FN, HK, we're using them to protect our country. And SIG's kind of changed that. They've introduced more weapon systems that are issued to our Department of War
Built and issued from the United States, by the way.
here.
Yeah.
And I know the designers, they're American, they're not foreign designers. That if there's anything that's helped our small arms community, at least the small arms community, heavy weapons, SIG's fronted that. And I give them kudos for that, because as Americans, buying our stuff from overseas is, I mean, they do the USA version, that's cool, whatever. But if shit hits the fan, we need to make our own guns. The innovation needs to be here. Like, I feel like SIG's made the biggest party up there.
I wonder what the
Ice cream truck or what? Something's going on out here outside of this.
Yeah.
But I feel like SIG's made the biggest ripple that will help the U.S. long term. Is there perfection there? No. Is there gains that we've never haven't seen in 50 years? Yes. They're doing things that haven't been done, and the M7's one of them. Yeah, from the cartridge to the weapon system to the suppressor package, like they're doing things. And
I love the way your chin's going out the way you're talking about
Yeah,
it. You're like, you're
me
into
proud.
this. You're
Proud
into
of
this.
it,
dude.
Makes me, I'm proud of it.
Yeah,
Like, we
I can
need
tell.
that in America.
Yeah.
That's been missing for too long.
That kind of hit me in the feels, dude.
It's real.
Yeah.
Like, we need that. And that goes into our design and innovation. When I design like our new 3D printed suppressor, we're printing only the portion that needs to be printed, and we machine the rest, and we weld it together. And I guess in the base of what I do, and if it's a war fighter item like that, a 5.56 hard use can, we need to be able to produce it in a time of war and not break the bank.
Yeah.
Make sure it's maintainable.
Yeah.
We can't make throwaway items. We're potentially always at the brink of a war, of a new war. Like it's always going to come at the worst time too.
I'm going to check and make sure it's not the boys making that noise. Keep on.
Yeah. If we get to a spot where we got to do something and we have to be sustainable. We can't throw away the rifle because the barrel's burnt out. We have to
Correct.
change it.
Correct.
And in the basis of everything we do, JK will always make maintainable suppressors. There's always a way to maintain it. We're not going to say, hey, you have a baffle strike, you got to throw that away and start over. I'm just not going to do that. And that's why, it took us a couple extra years to get it to the 3D printed market. We really wanted to do the hard right there. And in my eyes, at least, there's a lot of ways to do it, but that was the way I felt I could do it, stand by it, and make sure I could maintain it.
When you did the mission configurable thing, that like really resonated with me in the sense that somebody's like, hey, if you want to hunt, if you want to shoot quiet at the range and you're just trying to do whatever, like you can.
Yep.
I was with a group of people, security detail for a business here in Vegas. And I was sitting there talking to the entire security team. And they're like, hey, we want to suppress like our shotguns. I'm like, what do we do? And I was like, well, when you say shotguns, what do you mean? And they're like, well, depending on what we're doing, we've got long ones and short ones. And I was like, oh, you need a JK can then. Yeah. And they were like, well, how did you get to that so fast? And I was like, because you can make it as big or as small as you want it, bro. If you're dealing with all these different ones, like, you know what I mean? I look at an 870 to me, like I consider an 870 a threaded weapon, right? Like, so if somebody has that, like to me, it's just so capable. Yeah. Right? But then when you start getting to like smaller shotguns, the experience is very different.
Right. Very different.
Yeah. So like choked or threaded or not, right? Like it at that point is like, you might only be able to get 2 baffles in its cycle or however you're going to use it, right? Because these are shorties that they're very modified shotguns.
Yeah, like
when
we carried in Iraq.
Yeah.
This is an advanced crowbar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tool. I need this to open stuff, break chains, lock doors, and then I need to stow it and go back to my primary, right?
Correct.
So it's a tool. It's better than a crowbar.
Correct.
But I need to keep it short.
Yeah, and so the shotgun.
I don't want to blow what we're dealing with it on the TBI side.
Yep.
A pressure wave on a shotgun that long is a real thing. When you're standing against the door and it's blasting back in your face, long-term effects for real.
100%.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And so your guys'
we
shotgun.
can mitigate that. I'm about practical use, mitigation. Yep. It's not, it's just in that setting, is it going to be silent? No. Does it help? Absolutely.
Yeah. Shotgun, I think shotguns, just by the very nature of them, are going to be really hard to. It's like 5.56. You can suppress it to a point unless you're running slugs, but there's just so much. It's a big cavity.
It's a big cavity, and really, it's a big cartridge. If you want to do it, correctly, the can needs to be huge.
Correct.
Then the practicality goes right out the window.
Correct.
So we're just trying to keep it real.
Yeah. No, I love
Keep it
that.
real.
I love that, man. Great answer.
Thank
Great
you.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
the shotgun can. I mean,
Yeah, it was like 6 right there, dude. that was the easy one.
yeah, killing.
yeah.
Yeah, killing.
What about you, bro?
The next one, I don't know. I got a list. Well, JK had a good year this year, so I'm supposed to get a pretty fat bonus at the end. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's either might trade it for like I don't know RPK or a EBR. I mean, like I'm obviously like no military experience, but my military experience is Call of Duty. So
Yeah.
just rebuilding.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
you.
Oh, shit.
That was respectfully, of course.
Hey, soon. You know who's gonna be on.
Yeah.
You know who's gonna be on the
Drone,
draft
dude.
first? Everyone that has an account for Call of Duty.
Oh,
That is me.
Yeah.
oh,
That happens.
Oh, it don't matter. Someone's shirt is getting repurposed.
nice.
Yeah, it happens.
But yeah, no, like a mini Scout 14, like EBR style, would be pretty sweet.
Ooh, yeah, those are cool.
They're just sexy to look at. I mean, I shoot a lot. I think the problem, I wouldn't say problem, but what I found out is shooting for recreation and fun has become a lot less apparent in my life, and now it's for media, film. I'm just like, we got to go knock something out, right? So it's
You
like,
make a banana gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're talking the Mini 14, the nickel with the wood,
Oh yeah.
with the black can.
Oh, yeah.
That's been like the hot. I feel like that's been one of the cleanest pictures of the year.
Yeah.
Dead Air's doing it a lot. Kudos to that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like Western stuff, right? It's like anything that's like
It's the
wood
perfect
grain,
crossover,
wood
right?
grain with like new accessories, like an aim point acro and like a big can or some food tape around it. Just hell yeah.
I love that every year you get like a fad in the firearms industry, and not that much actually changes, but some like when lever guns turned like furniture,
Yeah,
and you're like, dude, why the didn't we do that
Yeah.
sooner? Like,
Like,
yeah,
I'd
because
take
like a
custom.
slippery wood grain, whatever it is that someone did to look pretty, and you tell me I can get something that feels like grip tape, yeah. You guys know Jimmy Bell well?
yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So Jimmy Bell, Big Smashin' is his name. He Kovics, I think is his now suppressed company. He was an original Silence Co sales rep back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah,
Back in the day, he's one of the first 10 people I ever met when I started in this space.
Awesome.
He left the industry for a little bit. I think he was selling software, but just loved the game and missed it. But he and I may be butchering this, but I think he and Josh Waldron have a history, and I think he like pulled Josh from like an incident, like saved his life. Again, I'm going off of memory here, so I could be wrong. I apologize if I am.
Yeah.
But Jimmy's he's a big dude in the sense of like he does everything big, right? Like big actions, big feelings, big like if there's somebody who needs to jump into a fire, that dude will go into the fire and somehow come out. Tough dude.
Awesome.
But they called him Big Fashion because he would like I think one night he broke in like 1,000 doors on a training mission or something like that at this hotel or something like that. And he just had to like hit doors. The reason I say all this, very much like you, he looks at it like a tool. It's not like a safe clean, like anything like that. And Tyler Walters had a shotgun with grip tape on it. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I was like, did you buy it like this or did you make it? And Tyler's like, oh, no, I made it this way. He's like, if you know, you kind of know. And when I tell you Jimmy was like full brick
Yeah.
when he saw it, dude, because that's the dude who was like the entry man, the doorman, right? And you know this better than anyone. He like bricked it and had it like to where the grip tape was, and now he held it. I've never seen a man's teeth go sharp before like that, where he was just like, oh yeah. He's like, you just run this when when blood starts hitting it. I mean, he just starts going off on like all the stuff that he's done. I was like, oh my God, I am not worthy to be amongst these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Your hands get sweaty right out of the gate.
Yep.
And you got to be able to grip the gun.
Yep, exactly.
That's a real thing.
Yep. So like when you see these like I don't know super smooth guns or whatever, and you're like it just doesn't seem practical to me. That fundamentally changed everything about how I buy a gun after that point.
Yeah.
That one experience.
That's great. Though.
You would actually get along really really well with him. I should
need to meet
introduce you
this guy.
guys.
He's a good dude. Like,
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he was at the party last night, but I think he
and
came
I
in a
may
little bit.
even know him and don't know his name.
I think you do.
Probably a small enough circle. I
yeah.
probably ran across.
You guys would get along really well.
Sweet.
Yeah, you guys
Oh,
are.
geez,
yeah.
yeah.
You guys have the same heart.
Good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Good,
Okay.
good answer. I love that.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
So this is the top part of the podcast that's a special one for me, right? So if you want to tell the story we were talking about earlier, now would be the time to do it. But also, it's the time to open up about if there is anything that you're working on for yourself like we've had people go from anything to fatherhood to faith to just talking about a product line that they're working on. But it's like, what is important to you right now? And it's something that you think would benefit somebody else to hear. Yeah.
Want it?
Yeah.
Ready?
I'm super ready.
We need to make stuff in America. Yeah, we
Based.
need to empower Americans.
Based.
Yeah.
We need to train them. We need to help them. We need to bring it back. Even in our space, we're one of the few manufacturers that manufacture in-house. We're blessed to do that.
Dude, that's so hard to do.
It's hard. It's
Delays everything when you're learning that, right?
It's been an uphill battle. It's been a great battle. We're doing great, but we started JK. We bought a machine, and we didn't know where the on button was.
Mm-hmm.
But again, going back to our baseline, we could if they can do it, we can do it. The American spirit, like we'll figure this out. We got it turned on. We learned CAD CAM. We started machining parts. It can be done. Is what I'm saying. So now we're multiple spindle machines, 3D printer, metal 3D printer. Like you can do it.
I'm just picturing you walking into a conversation with someone buying like $1 million machine. The guy's like, so like, you know how to use this? You're like, no, but I know how to try. And the guy's like, all right, cool.
Don't be afraid to try it.
No,
That's
I
the
agree.
biggest thing, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we self-taught ourselves, but that also helps us now. We bring in guys. I think our best conversion for our CNC operators is kind of going back to my past. Me and my brother-in-law, which my brother-in-law runs the CNC shop. He's the main programmer. He's great. Evan Cermak, he's a great human. He helps bring in guys. We bring in guys that are diesel mechanics. He was a diesel mechanic. I was a diesel mechanic. There's something mechanical about knowing, diesel is different than it used to be. It was like very simple, very injection, like our old tractors. Now you got that with a lot of tech on it because we're in 2026. So a diesel mechanic's techie and he knows the mechanical side, and that makes for the perfect CNC machinist.
I love that.
And so we don't bring anyone out of the schools. We don't bring them. I don't care if they know where the on button is. I don't. We bring them in, we train them up, and we have made and been around some of the best CNC operators I've ever seen.
Idaho as a state actually has a lot more prowess than I think people are willing to give it credit for.
Dude, I mean, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Idaho's one of the last frontiers in the United States.
But what's cool about it too that people forget, especially after COVID, right? And I live part of the year in Wyoming, right? Wyoming hasn't benefited from this the way Idaho has. There's so much tech talent that has moved to Idaho because they're right on the, I'm going to assume, this is an assumption. My assumption is correct. Yeah. All the
We're on the
right.
belt. Yeah.
Well, but they
and we
moved
have
there.
Micron there.
Yeah, but they also moved there because they're probably a little bit more based. They're outdoors people. You can be a tech person and not be liberal, right?
Yep.
And you can work in the gun space and not be conservative. That shit is not that big. Like I'm sure there's some stat as to like how that distributes naturally. But there are people going that, let's say, are moderates, libertarians, whatever, that has amplified Idaho's ability. Idaho has always had the tenacity, in my association to it, to do that. But now they've got this technological layer that's boosted into it, and like Boise and those other areas, you're seeing really cool innovation come out of Idaho.
Absolutely.
That was always there in potential, but is now there in execution.
Yeah, it's the good mix. It's Idaho started as it was mining first.
Mm-hmm.
And they, we have the mountains of Idaho, and there was silver in there and gold and different things. And everyone came, worked hard, dredged, dug, did all the stuff, right? And then pretty soon it slowed down. It's like, well, there's timber.
Yep.
So they got into timber, a lot of logging, timber sales. That, there's only so much you can do with that if you're not managing it correctly. And we mismanaged it in some ways. Idaho did. My family came, I'm 5th generation Idahoan. So they came to law. That's why they came to Idaho. Right back. And then eventually that kind of has slowed down. I mean, we still do it. I feel like we could probably improve at it. We do all right. And then farming really took over in Idaho. That's kind of, potatoes. That's what we're really known for now. And it's a thing. Like,
y'all own our water in Wyoming, by the way.
Yeah.
Y'all got first rights on that shit. We don't even get access to our own water.
Yeah. So luckily we have water and we have good weather, and especially the southern portion, like we can grow stuff.
Yeah.
I live in the warmest town in Idaho. It's the lowest elevation, closer to the equator type thing, and we can grow row crops. So
Yep.
we grow corn, alfalfa. When you talk about me being a farmer, like we farm.
Yeah.
We have combines, swathers, balers, like we do stuff.
It's hard
Yeah.
to get green lights from him half the time because
Yeah.
he's in the combine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got combine time.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with my I call it tractor time, seed time.
Yeah.
I'm by myself.
This guy's it was no
It's bugging
ideas.
me. I'm usually in some place that doesn't have cell service. It's
Yeah.
great, right? It's like camping almost. And I could sit there and chew on the next idea
I love it.
without being interrupted. So then that's the best office in town is my glass cab looking at
Yeah.
America and thinking about what could I do next to help? Where's the hole at? What can we plug?
I love that.
That's what I do.
That's great. That was an awesome answer. What about you, Bryce?
I mean, honestly, the biggest thing for me right now is like taking my state back. I mean, that's always going to be the forefront issue.
Yeah.
It's like, I joke, I'm like, hey, I stay behind because I want to swing the pendulum, but actually you have to, right? Because like,
I think
we're
for the
close.
first time it's
We're
possible.
close. Like we are very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, LA and San Francisco drowns out California, but like everyone that I know is like so pro all of this stuff. I just trying to support it as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually really gay to not be proud about where you're from. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could be from a shitty podunk town like me, but like you got to own that shit. Like when I was in Texas, I was like, oh, I'm back in Texas. I'm from here. This is me.
Mhm.
Like at that time, like if you tell people you're from California, even now, they're like, So I think that's the biggest one. Because like,
It sometimes pisses me off because I've had enough Californians on this podcast this week. There are some brands that go hard, right? And it's hard to do business in those states.
very
Right.
Everyone moves.
Yeah.
You can't.
But even outside of the 2A, it's hard to do business in that state before it even got as crazy as it is. You have to grow up hustling. My drive, my anxiety, like all the things that I have that make me successful, right? That make our team successful, right? And members of my team are also from the same state, is you're always like, this place is hard to live. It's beautiful, but it's hard to live and survive
You gotta
by.
grind.
You got to grind. You
Yeah.
always have to be focused on that. And you get no chill time, no easy props, right? And there is an ethic that's there, but it's overshadowed by what's been really successful media for marketing for what I consider a sickness.
Yeah.
I think, look, if you're a libertarian, I think a lot. And I'm not going to get into politics here, but it's a good point. Is like there is this us and them divide that exists somehow. And a number of people who knock on this, by the way, when they walk through it to see if it's real, is nuts to me. Like they walk back and they knock
just
on
see
it.
it
You
and
can't help
say it.
themselves. I just feel like every time we should do it, it's like an autism counter. It's like, okay, that one's
Yeah.
like pegged.
It's when you need the Delisle.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have like a little squirt gun. Just,
Yeah.
just spray them with some energy drink.
It's a Vaseline on it. That should jet thing really quick.
Yeah, just they hit it and slip.
Oh man.
No, but like the division, I haven't met that many people that are like so far on either side that they can't think for just humanity, right? And I think that's just a polarization of information where like I definitely get worked up when I see certain posts on either side of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe most people are normal, right? They might have a
Yes.
couple of little outlier points. And so then Californians in this space get seen as this like extreme, but there are so many innovators and so many hustlers, and there's so much of the culture, what I favorably call Western culture. And I look at Western culture, I think West Coast culture is part of that.
Absolutely. They
and-
were the pioneers. That was the farthest point west.
Yeah, exactly.
When they went, that was the hardest place to get to. You had to grind to get there.
Exactly.
Then when you got there, it wasn't easy.
Yeah. And that culture,
That is their base.
Yeah.
That's where your family's from.
yeah.
They were doers.
I try to look ideally at even people if they're like hyper extreme on either direction, but let's just say because it's easy to target liberals on that side. I look at it like, hey, they're still coming from the pioneer spirit because they're pioneering something they believe in. I still respect that even if I don't agree with where they go.
Yeah.
Right. And I try to keep that in mind. And I really hope that that spirit in California leads it to a place where it does better for more. And it can get out of its own way. People should be supported, like regardless of where they come from. And again, we're not here to talk politics, but I do think like taking back the state for the sake of the people, because I know you care about people and you have a big heart. It's a big thing. That's beautiful, dude.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of family from there. A lot of our employees come from there because they're grinders. They know how to put in the extra time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I talk about this a lot in Idaho. So Idaho, I don't know. I'm gonna butcher this a little, but I think it was when I was a kid. We hit our 100 years as a state. Like we're young. We're young.
Yeah, you're babies.
We're babies.
I didn't even think
right?
about that.
There's people in the community we live in that remember when Indy and Joe lived there. The guy's nickname that was like a Shoshone that lived where we live. Like, we're young.
Yeah.
Like, they remember when the railroad came through, and we're out west, right? We're super fresh. And how they built that, and that speaks to California. Like, a lot of that's new. It's not that old.
No.
But that how great it was and how quick it can fall is the lesson for me watching Idaho and our capital, and like it's things change quick, and we have to do our part to do something, be about it, and not just stand on the sidelines and watch it happen, good or bad.
Yeah.
For our next generation, because they're coming, right?
You got to protect what got you there, and you got to make sure you're changing and evolving to stay relevant in the modern era. And that's not easy to do without making compromises. And it's really easy to course correct too far.
Yes.
Right?
And I hope that, people that run and do those things that influence everything we do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
The people in those positions are so important. It's understated.
Yeah.
I hope we get back to the point where it's people that have done great things in their life, have accomplishments, and then sacrifice their time to help others.
Yeah.
And not try to come in and just make it a career. Not having the best thing you've ever done in your life is be a senator.
Yeah.
No, this guy ran multiple businesses that succeeded, and now he's a senator.
Yeah.
This guy is a war hero. Now he's a senator. What did you do to qualify you to get in there? We need to get back to those, because when we did that, we succeeded. Now it's kind of gone the other way. They want it for the badge. Like, I'm here. I'm a senator.
Yeah.
And it should be a sacrifice.
You heard it here first, folks. From today on, take a moment, make change in your community for the better, for the things you believe in.
We need it.
We do.
It takes all of us.
Thanks for staying tuned, y'all. Guys, you're the ball.
Yeah, thanks.
It's just real, man. It's just real.
It is.